say you do your book funnel and somebody purchases, well, the next thing that needs to happen once they click submit and their card gets charged, or if you're sending them a free book, um, you're there needs to be a delivery, some sort of confirmation in their email, because otherwise
Yep.
they're going to wonder like where it is, right? So this is where your automation comes in, because basically you don't want to have people waiting around for, or you don't want to be sitting there babysitting your system, waiting for somebody to purchase something, and then
Of course.
for you to go and, oh, okay, I just got a purchase.
Yeah.
Let me send them a thank you message. No, that's not how we
Yeah.
want that to work, right? We want
Right.
them to automatically get an email from the system, right? And so this is where our workflows come in, and in other systems it may be something different, but it's something like this where somebody purchases and we might set up a confirmation. I have a bunch of them in here, but I'm just going to show you this one. So once somebody purchases, that is the thing that triggers your workflow, right? So we can trigger based on different things. So say if you're offering your book for free, like a free ebook or something, then your trigger might not be an order. It'll be they filled out the form, right? So once they fill out the form and they submit it, or once they submit the order, that is your trigger. And once this trigger happens, now they come into this workflow. And so once they come in here, now you can send them, and I've got a bunch of stuff going on in here before I even get to the email, right? So in my system, there are people I want to make sure when they order this particular item, I'm removing them from other workflows. So that's what these are doing. And this is how, when you're looking at this, and you have to think about like, what is your process? If you're sending out emails on a consistent basis, like say in another workflow, and that particular workflow is designed to get them to buy this thing. So then one of the first things you want to do is remove them from those reminders. So once they purchase, they're not continuing to get reminders. So basically that's what this is doing. And then I'm adding a tag, which helps you to segment your list. So in your list, you can see who has purchased this thing or who has downloaded this thing. And I can talk about the whole opportunity pipeline later, but then in here, I send myself a notification, but then I also, this is my email. All of this happens very quickly. So as soon as they push the button, like a few seconds later, they're going to get an email. Congratulations, you purchased this thing. And you send them a nice message. You're using personalize it with their first name, which is one of these custom values in here. We can pull in lots of different elements from their record or from your system setup. But you grab their first name, drop that in here, and then write your message. And also, if it's an electronic delivery, deliver what you promised, right? Come in here and put in a link that says, okay, this is how to get the thing, but tell them what that next step is, and don't leave them hanging. Is basically what you want to do. Right? And so you set that up, send the email, write it in your own words. AI is great for helping you out, but I always like to edit, read over what the AI writes, make sure it sounds like how you want it to sound, and then you save it and send it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then of course there's always testing, right? So in here we have the ability, I can put in my email address and hit send a test email, so I know what it looks like. And if you have, like, say you have Yahoo and you have Gmail, you can put both of those email addresses in here, like one at a time. Actually, it looks like you can do multiple emails because Yahoo and Gmail treat emails differently. They'll display them differently. So, but you can see what your email looks like in either one. Once you get the email, click the link, make sure it does what you want it to do, it goes where you want it to go, and then you save it and you publish your workflow, and you're good to go. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in here, I
So,
have a series of emails. So like, we can set it up there, especially since your book is kind of like your lead magnet, right?
yeah,
Um, we want to have a series of emails that help them to get to know you, indoctrinate them, um, get them used to hearing from you. And so we use multiple emails to do that. And then between each email, of course, we have wait steps, right? Wait a day, wait a couple of days, and so that they're not getting all the emails all at once. And then, of course, at the end, they can either end this sequence, or you can put them into another sequence before they leave this one, and then this one is ended, and that's how that one works.
mm. It, is there some sort of a framework to say for people who sign up, this is on average how many emails you need, and if people don't sign up, then on average, this is how many people you need, this is how many emails you need, and then
Oh,
at
you
which
mean like
point,
in this workflow to send them?
yeah,
Uh,
like is there some sort of criteria of good practice and bad practice in terms of how many emails should go out for com
Everybody
every
kind
kind
of
of
does it
lane?
differently. Yeah, like when I'm doing a lead magnet, the first time somebody signs up, um, I'll do like 4 or 5 emails. The first one is the delivery. The
Okay.
second one is a reminder of that delivery. Um, and I can combine like the second or third if you want to. Like, it'll remind them of the delivery, but then then you can also like start telling them about yourself. Um, this is my foundation. Is where I came from. This is why I believe in this particular framework. I found that it works, or this is how I learned it. How what's his name? Uh, mm, Russell Brunson, yeah.
Oh,
Russell
okay.
Brunson says how I learned it or earned it. So you tell that origin story. How did you come across your framework, or adopt your framework, right? And why does it work, right? And then you can send another email that says, okay, you're now on my mailing list, basically, and I'm going to be sending you messages every week. So basically, you're telling them what to expect. And then there's another email you can send that just says, thank you for being here. These are the links to my socials. Follow me on socials and I'll follow you back or something. So those are like the emails that I tend to send originally. Then there's another school of thought that also says to send like either 3 or 4 emails that are your story, that are like, they call it it's kind of like a soap opera sequence. You start your first email, yes, you're delivering the thing, or maybe the second email, you're delivering the thing, but then you're also telling your story, and you're telling it in such a way it's high drama, and you leave them hanging at the end. You give them a cliffhanger at the end so that the next day they'll open the next email because they want to continue the story.
I see. Okay.
And so that indoctrinates them and that gets them opening your emails, those first few emails, which helps your deliverability to make sure that your emails are landing in the inbox. And it's indoctrinating them to you.
I'm grabbing a good indoctrination series template, Miri, for you.
Oh,
My
it sounds so sinister.
I know, right? Well, like you said, why reinvent the wheel? If people are doing it well already, why not use other people's templates, right? So I learned this whole indoctrination series like years and years and years ago from Ryan Deiss from Digital Marketer, if you're familiar with him.
Never heard of
And
him.
so I have a like a template that I kind of customized that and tweaked to me, but that has all the, you know, the it has all the
It has the
places where you
frameworks in
can-
it.
Yeah, it has the framework. Yep, exactly. In fact, I might even have theirs.
And is that something he specifically focuses on?
No, he does everything digital marketing. So email marketing is just one piece of the
It's one piece of the puzzle. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
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 So,
Okay.
But it literally gives the breakdown of like, here's what to send in email 1, here's what to send in email 2, which you send one day after email 1. And here's what to send in email 3, you know,
So it's a true
which is
roadmap.
2 days after email 1.
yes.
So it's very, this is a 3-part indoctrination series. And again, like you might start with a 3-part indoctrination series. And then as you grow, you might think of, okay, I could add a client testimonial into, you know, as you, for example, if you were either working with the chambers or forensic accountants, you could decide, okay, well, once I have a testimonial story, I could put that and add a 4th email, right? So as your business grows and you have more content you could use to warm up your audience, you could insert and make your series longer. Simone, for example, has like I don't remember how many it is, but it's almost like a 52-week, like forever nurture sequence.
Forever. That's what I call it. I call it my forever
for 52 weeks and then starts back at the beginning again. So unless somebody's unsubscribing, they're at least getting content from her on a weekly basis. That's evergreen, right? Which doesn't mean you're not promoting something at a certain point, like your panel that you did, right? From data to decisions. So all of those things then go in addition to a weekly email. So instead of Simone putting out a weekly newsletter, she's just sending out a weekly email that she's dubbed her forever nurture sequence, right? So there's not necessarily a hard rule.
Well, you know, it's kind of like, so, and there's different kinds, right? So those first few emails are indoctrinating your audience to you and your framework and how you do things, right? What your beliefs are. And then after that, then you can move them over to that long-term nurture sequence, right? That forever nurture, where they're being nurtured. They're also, so I'm actually redoing mine. I'm working on, I've got like 13 emails that go out that are specifically nurturing. There's no call to action. It's telling them, like, you know, just giving them stories of my work and my life and that kind of thing. Mistakes I've made in the past, and, you know, just saying, hey, I'm here, I understand, basically, right? And then another series that says, I'm the authority on these different things, right? And that's another 13-week series, but I'm going to be running them at the same time. So they're all going to be going out One goes out on one day of the week, the other one goes out on another day of the week, and then I'm going to do another one. Another one is call to action. I think I'm going to do that one probably once a month, right? Where, hey, or maybe every 2 weeks. I think I'll do that one every 2 weeks. So they're at most they're going to get 3 emails a week.
Okay.
There are people who are like, oh my gosh, how can you send so much email? Um, if they don't like to hear from me, they can just unsubscribe. It's fine. But the people who stay, I know are my people and they want to hear from me. And and those sequence, I'm going to just have one sequence running maybe on a Monday, another one on a Wednesday or a Thursday, another one on a Friday, right? And so they're going to get at most three for the week. I know one guy who talks about sending email every single day.
Yeah, I know someone who does that.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
you kind of have to get over it in your head that you're bothering people. If
You also
the
have to realize that as you're starting out, you're probably not going to do an email a day. It's just overwhelming from a content perspective. So you choose what's more important is being consistent. So if you decide to
Yes,
do one email a
that
month to start
consistency.
with until you've got 12 emails, and then you add in another email a month. So now you're at a bi-monthly email. And then when you add the third one in, you're now like almost sending an email a week, right? You have to
Grow it
decide what's
slowly.
important to you, right?
How
Yeah,
far,
slowly.
I'm curious, Simone, how far in advance? Because I know you're not coming in on Monday and sitting down and doing the next one or two or three emails. How far in advance do you batch create them?
Right now, I'm batch creating them 13 weeks in advance. I'm doing all 13
In one
I'm doing
sitting.
13 for my nurture. I'm about to do 13 for my authority. And then I'm gonna do however many, maybe 6 for the call to action. Because I don't want my audience to see me, oh, she's always just asking for money, right? No,
Sure.
I'm telling you stories. Having you get to know me, but I'm also sharing that I'm an expert in these different things. And if this is what you are needing, then I'm the person to come to, basically. I know what I'm doing, that kind of thing. Um, and then the call to action is, okay, you're on my list. You're a warm person. I'm offering this thing. It's up for sale. This is where you go to buy it, basically. Um, with AI, it's very easy. And if you have your own framework, it's fairly easy. What makes it easy for me to create all of these all at once is that I have the framework. I already know I know my subject matter, but then I created several documents I have a document of case studies and testimonials from my clients. I also have a document of my stories. I just wrote stories of my origin and my life and that kind of thing. Put those into a document. And then I have a document of like stories of my difficulties, stuff that like my insecurities and stuff that I've had in the past. All of that goes into like my knowledge base that AI has access to. And I say, okay, I want to write 13 emails. And this is what those 13 emails should be covering. Now I want to write another 13 emails that are positioning emails. I want it to cover this. And so the AI knows to go into all of my sources, all of my documents and stuff, and say, okay, this is relevant for this series. And it'll write up all of those emails. So then the thing that I have to do now is just put them all into into the automated series and set it up and let it rip.
That's so fascinating that you say that. One of the things I started to do in my attempt to even try to wrap my head around content, as Kim and I have been talking, is at one point I took my resume And I said to ChatGPT at the time, I said, okay, we're going to go through every single line item and I'm going to tell you the story behind every line item because I was thinking that I needed a way. It's great that there's line items on a resume, but each one of them, there's a whole story. And I've never documented those stories. So, and to be honest, some of them I don't even remember anymore. It's only a few are still in my head, but I didn't finish this work, but I did start to try to document the stories. But I like your idea better as to, because I was trying to do it with AI, but you did it separately. You just created a document and like wrote all your stories in
Just
there.
write them out in your own words. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
that might work better.
then you give it to AI and say, okay, well, this is
AI
my,
just polishes it up, Marie. You need to sit down
Yeah.
and write the document yourself, though. Like, I think that's what people think AI is just going to miraculously do all this amazing work. But I sat there with literally a voice memo. Well, I sat there with a document or a spreadsheet. I don't remember which one I did, but, and I just literally wrote down the name of every client. And then I went back up to the top and I was like, okay, tell this person's story. And I'll be like, okay, Susan Nay, she came to me. Her story was that she'd been writing her book for over 13 years, starting and stopping and starting and stopping. She worked in HR. She was 100% a professional. So there's no reason that she couldn't do the work. She just felt always overwhelmed, didn't know how to get the project across the finish line. Finally, when she worked with me in 3 months, her book was finally done after 14 years. And then she went on to turn her book into a podcast. So I just said that story, like dictated it. And then I went on to the next client. Okay. Deb Stellingworth, again, a super successful, accomplished real estate agent who turned into a coach for realtors because we know a lot of realtors that struggle to make money, right? That only 20% of them are making any money. The other 80% are broke spinning their wheels because they weren't taught how to do the marketing and the business side of their business. And so that's what she's passionate about. It took her attending my group program twice and then coming to the write your book, maybe it was once, I don't remember now, and then coming to the write your book at the beach retreat, and she still left the retreat without her book done. So then she hired me one-on-one. That's what it was. So she did a group coaching cohort, a retreat cohort, and then she hired me one-on-one to get the project across the finish line. Not because she's not smart enough to do it herself, blah, 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 but she was the type that she's so busy, she needed the one-on-one time, blah, 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 blah. Not only does it tell the story of a smart, successful person who still hired coaching, right? Like there's lots of nuances in that story, right? It took her longer than I say it can be done, like in a day or 3 months or whatever. It took her over a year, but also she had, in the midst of all that, she was going through a divorce and her marriage dissolving and everything else. So she had a lot of personal things going on. Can anyone relate?
Oh,
right.
Right.
So telling stories.
Absolutely.
So
Life is life.
beat themselves up for having taken longer than we say it can take them to do something. Right. So there was lots of things in that story that then I can draw from and tell ChatGPT, hey, tell the story about somebody struggling personally and having their business derail and move off track. I can tell my story of having to take care of my dad. I can tell Deb's story of her divorce. And I can also show them the story of how we persevered and got to the other side and we're still successful. So if you're sitting in this place right now, listening, and this is you and you're struggling, know that this is not the end of your story. You can't go back and write a new beginning, but you surely can open up, start a new chapter and finish it and make a different ending, right?
Yeah.
So where can you just think about every person you've ever worked with? You can think about a lot of stories probably with your husband and having done all of the bookkeeping inside of your family business, right?
I mean, I have personal stories as well of things that I solved for it. And I guess at one point I thought it all had to be accounting related and I was struggling with that. But then I realized I don't think it has to only be about the subject matter. It's really just stories about that showcase how we think, how we approach
resiliency, relying on systems,
right?
Knowing you go through seasons, knowing your business doesn't operate in a bubble. Personal things affect your business because we're humans, right?
Yeah.
So
Human stories. I mean,
creating a story bank is a really powerful thing I wish I had done
it's
earlier.
really going to connect people to you.
Mhm.
Oh, that's another thing too that I have in my current Forever Nurture that I need to put back into this new series that I'm doing. Check-ins. Once a month, I just send an email or a text message that says, "Hey, how are you doing? How's business?" And I end up getting a flood of responses.
Oh, wow.
Hey, thanks for checking in. This is what's going on with me. How's it going with you? You know, it's fantastic. And that also helps with email deliverability. If you give people a reason to reply to your email,
Mhm.
Google and Yahoo and all the email, companies out there, they look at your email and go, "Oh, this is important. Let me put this in the inbox because it's coming
Tomorrow is
for
a big one. Tomorrow is a big one for content, right? Because it's the start of the second half of the year. So it's a
Yes.
great opportunity to reach out and go, hey, the first half of the year is come
It's
and
over. Yeah.
where are
How's
you
it going
at?
with those goals? And
Checking in.
are you accountable? Are you accountable to anybody? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Checking in.
So
That's perfect time to check in.
So I do my content a little bit differently than Simone. I don't usually do like, okay, I'm gonna write all these emails. I'm typically doing my content in like pillars and silos that represent the pillars of my business.
Mhm.
But then I'm also doing what she does in terms of relating it back to seasonality, to holidays, to
Mhm.
challenges in life, and all of those things, fresh starts. I'm always talking about I do a beginning and end of each quarter, right? We're now Q3, but we're also first half of the year is gone. So how are you relating all of that back? For example, I'm starting my in the book launch lab. Marit. July is the Get Clients All Summer Challenge. So it's 30 days of just small little client getting activities, right? Because it's summer. So I just tried, hey, while everyone else is taking a break, here's some tiny little things you can do every day between walks in the park and trips to the lake. They're easy to do, so you can still stay on top of your prospecting over the summer. And then in August, I do a back to school series. So I tie in the timeliness of the seasons to my content.
Yeah.
So I could do client generating activities any time of the year, but why not tie it into summer when people tend to slack off a little bit?
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've now created a series of content where I make it really easy for somebody to do a small little activity every day, kind of like the Tiny Habits Challenge, only it's still a tiny habit challenge. It's just a tiny habit as it relates to getting clients all summer, right?
Yeah, as far as outreach is concerned. But does that involve then also social media, or are
Of
you
course
still?
it does. Absolutely. Some of them are social media. Some of them is write an email.
Mhm.
Some of them is get visible. Some of it is post something, do a live stream. Every day is a different tiny little activity to put yourself out there and let people know you're still in business, even though it's summer. So a lot of people just drop off. So you being visible during summer keeps you top of mind for everyone, for all the other people who are like taking holidays and vacation and not working as hard, right?
Mhm.
I see.
Um,
Okay.
in August, like I said, I do a series called the a back to school series on the A to Z of, and then I have like my marketing images almost look like those letter blocks, right? Like so A B C E F G, like it's a letter board, and every letter, because there's 27 of them, 27 letters of the alphabet, is a different marketing strategy that starts with the letter A, B, C, D, E,
Oh,
F,
that's
G,
so
right?
cute.
So while everyone else and all the biggest name companies are playing ads going, it's the most
Yeah.
wonderful time
We're in
of the
Christmas already.
year.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
right? I'm riding the wave of all of them spending money on advertising, and I'm also talking about back to school stuff. They have school in their mind,
Yeah.
right? So I'm tying in to the big money marketing that the big guys are spending by tying my content to timely events,
Yeah.
right? And
And
then
so-
September is almost like January. It's another reset period where back to school, back to work. It's like January. People set goals again in September. So how do you tie all of your content pillars to also things that are going on in the seasons with respect to holidays,
Yeah.
with respect to your industry? So in Canada, November is Financial Literacy Month. I believe it's February in the United States. So you'll have, but I don't remember exactly because I'm not in that industry anymore.
I don't know.
But figure out when Financial Literacy Month is, and you should be doing promo campaigns around Financial Literacy Month as a bookkeeper, because it's top of mind, and every insurance and financial institution is pounding money into advertising for Financial Literacy Month. So you get to ride the wave of that, right?
Yeah.
Another really fun one I use is the national holiday calendar, the national day calendar.
Oh,
Sometimes
that-
I've seen that,
you would
yeah,
do-
because some of them are really
Yeah.
quirky and,
Some of
really
them are
interesting, and
quirky.
you can do some, some fun,
You can do
fun
some
stuff
really
around that.
fun things around
Yeah.
there. There's ones that are industry related, but there's ones that are not. Like, for example, National Roller Coaster Day. Well, how often do I talk about being on the income roller coaster as an entrepreneur? So I tied in National Roller Coaster Day with a post on, hey, a roller coaster is super fun at the amusement park. Not so fun in
Not
business.
so much in your business.
You really want to get some consistent
Oh
and
my
predictable income. And by the way, if you can't figure out how to tie it into your business, pop all the days into ChatGPT and go and say, how could I tie this to bookkeeping and make a business lesson out of it? And it'll tell you. And then you can go, yeah, that sucks. I don't like that one. That's a little bit horrible. Oh, this one's good. That's juicy. I'll use that one, right? So just get some
Yeah.
help with that. And then the last piece that I tie into all the time is my own events and the events of people I'm promoting for. So these are really important, kind of like the whole, if you've ever heard of the analogy of the big rocks.
No, never heard of Big Rock.
So I've been to lots of personal development seminars, and there's a few people that do this big rocks demonstration. In fact, one day I probably will do it. So it's like, imagine a big container, like a juice jug, and they have rocks, and then they have pebbles, and then they have sand, and then they have water, right? So the thing is if you go backwards, if you put all the water right up to the top of the thing, if you add anything else in, it spills over,
Yeah.
right?
A little water, yeah.
Correct.
Likewise, if you started with the sand, same thing. You could fit all the sand in, but you're not probably going to fit all the pebbles, and definitely none of the big rocks, right?
Agreed.
But if you start with the big rocks, put them in first, then put the pebbles and give the thing a shake. The pebbles all fall into the spaces in between, right?
Yeah.
Then you pour the sand and do the same thing, and the sand will all fall
Sand,
in
but
spaces
sand,
in
yeah.
between. And then you pour the water in. Now all of a sudden you can fit everything in your calendar because you put it in your calendar in the right order. So the analogy is put the big rocks in first.
Yeah.
So in your business, the big rocks are your own events and the promotional events of the people that you're serving first. You get those into your calendar first. Well, a lot of people would actually say that you put your time with your family and your like big, most important priorities at first. Because if you don't, I mean, there's times where I'm
And you
still
never
sitting
have
at my
time for
computer
them.
at 10 o'clock at night, right? I didn't put my family priorities first. So block off your most important tasks first, and then put the next ones in and figure out in your life, what are the big rocks? What are the pebbles? What are the sand? Right? And put them in your calendar in the right order. So in my world, for marketing purposes, events are the first thing that goes in the calendar, mine and the people I can promote. Because then when somebody comes along and says, hey, do you mind sending out an email for like my blah, blah, blah event? I'm like, when is it? And they go, oh, it's on, January or July 26th. And I'm like, yeah, but I've got an event on July 29th. So I can't be promoting your event on the 26th because I know that my event takes priority. So none of your stuff is going out. Now, if I'm not in a promotion week, I'm happy to throw something out for you because I'm just awesome like that.
You are.
But if it doesn't work for me, I only will know if I'm putting my stuff in the calendar first, right?
Sure. That makes sense.
So everything I just shared with you just now, by the way, comes from a talk that I do often. And the acronym is SHINE. So how to make your marketing shine. So we went over all of those things. So SHINE standard for the season. So how can you put timeliness into your marketing that revolves around the season? Right? So like back to school, the quarters would go into that in my book. In finance, I used to do a fall in love with your finances and spring cleaning for your finances.
I
Guess
love that, the spring cleaning.
Almost the same content, just a different spin on it.
Yeah.
I would often do, I used to, when I was doing finance and I was getting called on upon them by the media, they almost always called me at Halloween because I did a piece called Spooky Spending. So it was fun. No other financial advisors talking about that. They're all like, "Rah, rah, rah, stock charts, the TSX is down." I was like, hey, how about curbing your spending around some of the biggest holidays, because this is when most people pull out their pocketbook and spend too much. Between costumes and treats and decorations, it's only second to Christmas for the top spending holiday of the whole year.
Really? Wow.
And the news would call me and say, hey, do you want to do your spooky spending piece for us this year again? And I'm like, yep. So I'd get media coverage because I was timeliness of my content, right?
Mm-hmm.
So S was seasons, H was holidays, right? So the spooky spending, Christmas, Easter. How can you tie your content to the holidays if you can? The I was your industry days. SHI, industry days. N is the National Day calendar, and E is your events. And as Stephen Covey says, always begin with the end in mind. So start with your events and move your way backwards. But SHINE is the acronym to help you remember.
I love it. I've never heard this before. This is
Cool.
great.
Yeah, I never heard that before either.
Okay, good. I don't feel so
That's really
bad.
cool.
No,
I
this
know. I'm
is
so like into like the whole evergreen thing, but like maybe leaving a day in my week of emails to put in the timeliness stuff, you know?
But the thing is,
Yeah.
Simone, it becomes evergreen if you do it like, I barely ever have to go and create new content anymore because I just go back into my vault and I pick out the one for, whatever. Like my 30-day challenges, they're all already created.
Yeah.
Like this
I do
month when
remember
I'm
that, yeah.
running my Get Clients All Summer challenge, I've already done it the last 2 summers. This is the 3rd summer I'm running it. So
Yeah.
once you run it once, nobody remembers that you did it last summer.
of course not.
That's
What
true.
you did last week, let alone last summer.
And you have new people in your audience too, who for them,
Correct.
this is brand new. They've never seen it before.
So you create that once and now you slot it in, pre-schedule it in every year for the same time. And you've now got evergreen content going forward, as long as you're not changing your business every 6 months or a year. Right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's cool.
likewise, the spooky spending thing, it was always fun. Nobody didn't like it. So I just would repost it every single year for 13 years.
I love it. I think
Spooky
it's
spending.
great. Spooky
Yeah,
spending
that
is,
is
first of
cool.
all, it rhymes, and second of all, it's true, right? That's really what makes it cool, is the accuracy of it. And I mean, if I tell you, I bought my kids years ago when they were small, a banana costume. And it was so stretchy that it didn't really matter how tall or big you were. And so I forced them to wear that damn banana costume for all the way
Years.
throughout high school. They're like, Mom, it's time for a new one. And I'm like, nope, you still fit into it. I'm not going out and getting another goddamn costume. No way. Use the banana.
It's funny because I actually just created it and I haven't launched it yet. And I just don't know if I'm going to right now. I just feel like I've got too much stuff going on. But I just created a whole series about what I've learned about Amazon Prime Days, just from an observation perspective, on how
I like
Amazon
that.
literally has a massive cash injection twice a year. Do you know that they used to do Prime Days? Only they didn't do Prime Days. It was Amazon Prime a day.
It was one day,
It
yeah.
was one day, once a year. Then they moved it to twice a year. Then they moved it to 2 days. Now it's up to 4 days. It was 4 days this year.
So it's once
like,
a year
hey,
for 4 days.
it's making them money, so they're doubling down on it.
It's their busiest. They're literally the most profitable days of the year.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering though is, are those, as far as the clients are concerned, are those really the kinds of deals that you can't get any other time of the year?
The thing is they're doing, so somebody will put on their thing at 50% off, but what happens when you're at Kmart for the red light special?
Mm,
You buy 10 other damn things in the aisle. So it's a
right.
loss leader. Prime Days is a loss leader because then
Yeah.
their
It's bringing you
their
to the
shit
site when you
turns on to
otherwise you
go,
wouldn't
well, when
necessarily be
buyers
there.
bought this, they also bought this and this and this.
Right.
And all of a sudden you got 20 things in your damn cart and you came for the
Right.
Amazon Prime special.
And then of course there's the
Genius.
whole free shipping thing, right?
Genius.
Yes.
You come in and you get this one thing, you put it in your cart. Oh, add $13 more and you get free shipping. Shipping is what, $6?
Not
So
only
you went
that,
out
but
and you got $13 or 14
you're
or 42 more dollars worth of stuff to save
Same.
that $8 or save
well,
that
not only
$6
that, but you
shipping.
sign up for your
You
Prime
know?
membership because you need the
Yes.
Prime membership to have that. So now they've
Yeah.
got you on a subscription model that's
And
not
now
that
you want a
expensive.
subscription.
And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, 12 months later, you're like, shit, am I still paying for that Prime? Oh crap. You know, talk
That I
talk
only
to
needed
me.
that
I'm
one
still paying for it
time.
in Canada and the US because Amazon's different. I'm like double
Mm.
paying Prime, like an idiot probably. I should be like canceling it when I'm in the US and vice
Mm.
versa in Canada. But then it's like we need it for our now we're sucked in because then they give you Prime TV and all the Prime channels. And
Well,
I'm like,
yeah, I get all of
Yeah.
that. But you know what I do? I mean, you know, I
I
I, I
binged
share
a
it
show
with
that I wanted to see and
just so you can cancel.
canceled it. Yeah. That's what I did. Yeah. I was like, because I needed Prime for free shipping on something. I was like, oh well, while I have Prime for a month, let me binge this show that I've been wanting to watch.
yeah.
I watched the show,
Yeah.
No,
and
So
then
I've
I
I
actually
canceled it
created
within
a
a month.
mini
Keep it on
a
my
mini course
calendar.
on like selling, like creating your own Prime Days
Mhm.
inside of your business. So you can
That's good.
link it in like Amazon.
Yeah.
it's insane, but I bet you when you look at the prices of whatever it is you're going, because I heard this years ago about all the Christmas sales, that you'd find better prices at earlier times of the year if you
Mhm.
just monitor. And there are programs these days that if you pick an item that you like and you add it in, they'll monitor the entire internet for who has that item and as the
Mhm.
prices drop and things. But nobody's doing it. Instead, they're waiting for someone to tell them when is a good time to buy something, and they have no idea whether that's accurate or not because they're
Yeah.
not pulling it up and saying, okay, what are the historic prices of this thing? They're not doing
Right.
that. That's an
Because if
extra
you're
step.
monitoring, apparently, like, some stores, they will actually raise the price before Christmas
Yep.
and then slash that price for the Christmas sale.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it makes it look
You
like you're
know?
getting a deal, but it's all smoke and mirrors. I don't trust
Yeah.
any of those things. And it boggles my mind how many people fall for this. They've just, okay. So if I tell you to go and buy some other crazy thing right now, you'd go and do that?
It
No.
probably would,
But if Amazon tells you to do it, then you do?
and you do
I
it.
don't get it.
Well, these companies, they spend lots and lots of money on psychology, and they know how to use our own psychology against us
Mhm.
to boost their profits.
It's FOMO, right?
Hmm.
It's
The
totally
whole
fear of
buy one,
missing
get
out. It's
one,
sense of
and
urgency. It's like
yeah, and the
all
free
sorts of
shipping and
psychology going on.
all of it. It's all psychology.
Yep.
Use our own psychology against us.
It is just insane.
Mm.
Okay. Great. Kim, I got the link, so thank you for that. I will
You're
check it
welcome.
out.
That's just one. I do have another. I have an email marketing training that maybe I will bust out and pull out of the vault and add to the lab just because it was good. It was about 10 different types of email series. Like
Mhm.
the indoctrination is one, the initial one, but there was a bunch of different other really great ones, like how to revive a dead list,
Yeah.
ones on psychology. Speaking of psychology, I know there's one on like the fear gain logic campaign, because those
Yeah.
are the three main psychology drivers that make people buy. They buy for fear of missing out, fear of not getting the reward, right? Or fear of something, movement away from fear or pain. Sorry, I think pain was one of the ones. Fear. Logic is like when the the analytical types. Like Marie, you probably buy mostly based on logic.
Everything I do is based on logic.
Yeah. And that's, so that would be the, you know, I was gonna say architects, but it's not, it's the engineers, the people who like, they need all the data. And then gain is the other one. So it's fear, gain, logic. So movement away from pain, movement towards pleasure, or movement because of the facts that have been given. So in a series where you're trying to sell to somebody, you need one of each of the emails because not everybody on your list buys the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's fair to say that these are the three psychological drivers for purchase.
Purchases,
The
yeah.
buying behavior is always based on one of three things: fear, pain, or logic. So for example, like when I remember the example somebody gave about the car, like buying a car, like some people will be like, they want to know what the safety ratings are and like the crash test stats and the blah 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 and all the na. And then there's the guy who's just like, oh yeah, can you smell the leather? Like I just can't wait to get into this thing. I'm gonna rip it around the block, and my hair's I can just imagine my hair
Yeah.
on my bald patch flying in the wind in the convertible, my midlife crisis car, right? There's that guy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then there's the, you know, the one who's buying the minivan because they want to cart their family around and it's the most safe, secure
And it's safety and security and
decision, right?
yeah.
So there's each of those kinds of buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So anyways, I've got 10 different of those types of email series, and I did a
Mhm.
training on it. So maybe I'll dig that one up, see if I can split it out. And then I've got a
Oh.
template for each one of them. So I've got like this indoctrination template, and I've got the 9 other templates.
Yeah, that
And
would be cool.
if you think that would be useful, I'd be happy to try and scrounge that up and put it inside of the lab.
I'm actually working on trying to, I mean, it's taking me longer than it should, but I've got timing issues. I am working on trying to put together something like an overall strategy, and where email is a portion of it, because I have the system I'm not even using. So I need to kind of get my shit in order on that. But you know, my biggest stumbling block is all of the pieces before all of this gets built out. So I'm trying to figure that out, and then do that. So yeah, I'm kind of like information gathering at the moment, so that I
Have you
can
had
kind
a
of
chance? Yeah. Have you had a chance to think about what we talked about?
I haven't had a chance yet because I had some family issues last week.
Okay.
But it's on I'm literally, this week is going to be all about taking all the different blocks of information and pieces and then figuring out how they all kind of go together and get AI to help me out with that. But I needed to give it the pieces first and kind of see them, you know, spread out so that I know what there are. I'm an
I have a
overthinker.
niche. I have a custom GPT to help you identify a good niche. So maybe you could test that one out as well for me
Sure.
in an effort to figure out your niche. So to Simone, to catch you up to speed, Simone's working with a Chamber of Commerce who uses this Chamber Master CRM type of tool. So we were talking about and contemplating that would be a really kind of cool niche to just go after chambers of commerce, right? It's very unique. It's pretty specific, and there's lots of chambers, so it's not like you'd run out of clients to go after, but we're struggling with who makes the buying decision for hiring somebody like that, right? Because some of them have board of directors, some of them staff it in-house, some of them contract out. So it kind of became a like, how do you market to them? Because we don't know who's making the buying decision. The other person she's working with is a forensic accountant, which again, very specialized niche accounting. So we thought, okay, that might make a potentially interesting niche, blah, 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 blah. And then I was lying in bed one day and I was just like, oh, thinking about my girlfriend Jocelyn, who I don't know if you've ever met my girlfriend Jocelyn, but she did the whole bookkeeping and business finance for entrepreneurs who suck at the business part of the business. Kind of like I help the entrepreneurs who suck at the marketing part of their business, right? It's like we all have our strengths. Marit's is finance, business finance and accounting and bookkeeping and all of that. Mine became marketing. But there's the entrepreneur who, you know, at the end of the tax year is not even remotely ready to do their taxes. So she could potentially swoop in and at a membership level that's becomes affordable and becomes less of a barrier for entry for entrepreneurs who are, you know, we've got our ChatGPT subscriptions and our Zoom subscriptions and everything else, right? So to want to spend a couple grand on a bookkeeper is usually like, I'm not going to do that. But maybe a membership might be a good opportunity for the business entrepreneurial community to make sure that they're ready, set, go when it comes to tax time. So,
Yeah, I always feel like more professionals can do a system like what prepaid legal does, is that you're paying into it on a monthly basis. You pay a small fee into it, and for that small fee, as a member, you get these like five different, benefits that um that you need, but um because a lot of people are paying into it, it ends up not being super expensive. But then if you need anything over and above that, you're paying for it at a discount rate as you would. But you still get access to a lawyer. And I feel like, why aren't
oh,
more
you're talking
lawyers
about
doing that?
something
I
like
feel like,
Legal Shield.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
suppose. But this one we
I'm
were going to
like,
run Simone just like a regular membership. Like she'd have a course on bookkeeping for small business, what you can
yeah.
write off, what you can't write off. Here's a spreadsheet to track your income and your expenses. And then once a week she'd hop on a call like we do to get them to like
Mhm.
bring your shoebox. Let's do all your data entry
And
together.
let's do some
Done.
stuff. Yeah.
It's like an office, a co-working
And it
office.
helps them, and it gets and they get it done during the year, and they're not waiting until April,
Yep.
and they're all super stressed out.
Well, and that's the part I'm trying to like figure out, because the thing that stops me every time my mind starts to go down this road is I don't know how much accounting I can actually talk, because
Mm.
I'm not a trained accountant.
You don't need to be a trained accountant. You're never going to tell
Hmm.
anybody you're not going to lie to people and say I'm a CPA or I'm an accountant. You're just going to be like,
Mhm.
hey, I have 20 years experience doing the books for my family. So I know a
Yeah.
thing or two about income and expenses for entrepreneurs. You're overthinking the fact that you need all these credentials. You're not
Mhm.
offering somebody
You
a
really
CPA
don't.
service and tax filing. You're offering them a bookkeeping service.
Hmm.
On a one-to-many basis.
Okay.
You
So if you
know?
keep it general enough, you're not giving specific advice for a specific person. I mean, if
No,
you
and
keep it,
yeah.
You're talking about general stuff like in-home office expense. How is that calculated?
yeah.
How do you write it off? Oh, you're talking about meal expense, 50%, 50%. Can you write off your golf? Hey, you bought yourself a nice three-piece suit to go to your, your office meetings. Can you write that off? Not
Hmm.
unless it's logoed, you can't because it ain't considered a uniform, right? Like you just need to be able to talk general accounting stuff that most people like you have a better understanding about it. You did it for your whole family business.
Hmm.
The other thing, Simone, is she used to do this for her husband who was running a landscaping company. So the other fourth niche was potentially like the blue collar people, like the, you know,
Oh, I like that.
the
Yeah.
landscapers, the snow removal guys, the electricians, the plumbers that like they're
Yeah.
good with their hands, but they ain't doing crap with their receipts,
Right.
they and if they don't have a
Their
wife to do it
papers
for
and
them,
their
they could be
the
using
office
Marie.
is a mess. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Oh
that
my
is.
God. I had to put a
Yeah.
garbage bag in my husband's car just for him to throw receipts into there,
Mhm.
Wow.
because otherwise I wasn't getting them and they would be all over the
Mm.
place.
So that's the four niches I would ask it for advice on. But I think we've kind of already decided to eliminate the two.
Yeah, I've been toying with the thought because I can't really much. I appreciate it.
I will I'll actually I think I have that shine training. I'm gonna look for that shine training, which was a little bit more detailed than what we kind of went through today, and pop that as a replay inside of the lab too. And then look out Mary this month for the Get Clients All Summer challenge. It starts tomorrow. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm actually adding I'm gonna take my 30-day write your book
Challenge?
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna condense it into 7 days because I've added I don't know if when you first signed up there that it was there, but I decided to add it just for people that like want to like take a look around first or whatever. But there's now a 7-day free trial. I don't know if it was there when you did it or not.
There was a 7-day free trial when I first came on.
So I made it, I decided, okay, I'd really like to do like a really official, like 7-day type of onboarding to really like get people into the swing of things. And then I thought, why not just make the 30-day book challenge into a 7-day book challenge so then they get to go through like a really like well organized 7 days, which should then give somebody enough information to decide whether they want to stay or not.
Yeah. Good
I've
idea.
seen a couple of other school communities doing that. They're using a 7-day challenge included with, of course, the free trial. So I'm like, oh, like in my mind, they're like, it's like that's their onboarding.
Well, yeah,
That's their thing that's keeping
that
them
quick
in
win,
and
yeah.
getting them really engaged and active and getting some small wins in 7 days so that they want to stay.
Yeah. That's
No, that
perfect.
makes
There's a
sense.
girl that does one for, I think she does speaking, like podcast something or other. So I'm actually going to jump into her community to see how she's running her 7-day thing, just to see if I can get it clean any. I mean, it's a different topic, but same idea. Right?
Sure.
Like she doing for her like day 1 through 7, because I'm guaranteeing you it's an onboarding process so that people stay. So I'm curious when she starts having the conversation in the 7 days of like, so like what's up next after this, right? To make sure that people know where to go next and why they should be staying in the community. Because I don't think that's clear enough right now. So
Yeah,
always a learning process, right? Always a learning process.
Yes.
of course,
Yes.
of course.
Because that's something Mara didn't teach, was how to do like a really great onboarding. And I think that's really important when you're asking somebody to stay with you long term.
I hear you.
I didn't really think about it until I'm like, oh wait, like I would appreciate that. Like knowing, do this first, do this next, right?
Everybody wants a roadmap. It just makes, I know I love roadmaps.
I
It
love
makes it-
roadmaps too, which is why I'm like, okay, I need a more clear roadmap. Because all my courses are roadmap-ish. It's always 30 days, day 1, lesson 1, 2, 3, but I don't have that one to make sure that they're not bouncing after 7 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want to keep retention at its highest. I should have a 7-day thing
Okay.
that's really clear about what do you do after the 7 days. Okay, go here, do this next.
Excellent.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure hanging out with you, ladies.
Same here.
Yeah,
You
you
too.
too.